Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio. I am Jonathan West, and welcome to the Howler, as your Sanford Coyotes are bowl eligible after their victory last week against the Ohio Bobcats in a tight one. But they look onward to this week's game against Ball State, though, as we'll talk about recruiting just a bit. There's no real big news this week, no recruits coming in. However, Eric Peters, the athlete from Georgia, is starting to go back to his original choices of Georgia and Tennessee being his top priority. So it looks like Sanford's falling down the line there. For the receiver Josh Williams out of Columbus, Nebraska, it seems like Sanford shot up for him, seeing that they were the only school, at least right now, to offer him a scholarship. So it looks like Williams, there's a good chance Sanford might be able to come away with him if they can at least impress him here late in the season. Only about 3 or 4 games left this year to do that, and hopefully they can do it enough. Samson Stratton still has yet to commit to the Coyotes, as it is going to be a fight from the looks of things. So it ought to be interesting to see where Stratton decides to go. Marvin Clark, the athlete out of Virginia, still has the Coyotes leading his board apparently, so that's good to hear. And the number one quarterback in the nation has taken a bit of interest in the Coyotes. They're not number one on his board by any means, but he has started to get a little bit interested in this Coyotes team. Jeremy Williams, the athlete out of Eager, Arizona, is another guy who has really started to take an interest in the Coyotes here during the recruiting process. But Pat Lewis out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, from all accounts is still dead set on going to Oklahoma even without a scholarship. It's just what we're hearing. Can't really say much else about it. Antonio Perkins has seemed to pretty much make his mind up about Oregon State. Sanford is pretty much out of the race for the tight end. That's a little disappointing. This team wants to bring in some tight ends just to build behind Duron Costello. As Albert Lynch, the middle linebacker, is pretty much focused on the Iowa Hawkeyes from all accounts. So it doesn't look like Sanford has much of a chance to go get Albert Lynch either. Now, Wayne Nobles, on the other hand, though, he's a guy the Coyotes have a chance at, and from all accounts, it sounds like they're starting to shoot up his board. Now, I don't think they're at number one yet or anything, but they're starting to get a little bit better and shoot their way up. When it comes to players of the week this week, Flash Gibson made himself known. Of course, 5 tackles, 4 for a loss, the sack and forced fumble, along with an interception, will do that for you. Now with awards starting to come around, we take a look at some of the semifinalists, and Richard Cruz, the only Coyote to make any of these awards, is up there for the Thorpe. Cruz has an opportunity too. If he can continue to play like he has been, it is huge for them. And what's even bigger, folks, is that the Sanford College Coyotes are officially the number one team in the MAC. Now, how long does that last is the question, but for right now, Sanford is the number one team in the MAC conference. They currently lead the East, and as long as they can keep going ahead here, and if they can win out especially, this is their conference to lose. This week's games, you've of course got Sanford College headed to Ball State to face the Cardinals, as Northern Illinois heads to Ohio to face the Toledo Rockets. Akron's going to take on USC in what is going to be pretty much a slaughter. Central Michigan will head to Miami of Ohio. Bowling Green will head to Kent, as Western Michigan will head to Eastern Michigan for the rivalry game, and Buffalo will head to the Bobcats of Ohio. So it's a fairly basic MAC schedule here this week, except for, of course, the Akron USC slaughter, which I don't understand why you would do that to poor Akron. That actually is a bit violent there, having USC just get an opportunity to murder them. But let's not talk about any more of the week's games. Let's talk about the one game that matters, Ball State. Sanford is going up against Ball State and is one of the teams here in the MAC that they have never faced. There's very few of those, but Ball State is one. They've never played Ball State. So this is going to be an interesting situation. These are two teams that don't know anything about each other. They don't know how they like to run the football, how they like to throw the football, how they like to do anything. So Sanford's going to have to find early a way to move that ball down the field. And if they can do that, this game is theirs. But that's a lot easier said than done. So if the Coyotes can really find a weak spot in the Ball State defense early, that gets them a big advantage. I don't know how they're going to be able to do that. We'll talk about some of the players here in a little bit on that Ball State team. But the Coyotes need to find their rhythm. They can't kind of just hope to counteract things. And we'll be talking about one player on the leaders for this Ball State team, Mark Walton, the cornerback. He's very Richard Cruz-esque. Both men have 5 interceptions on the year. So keep your eyes on him. We'll talk more about him later on here, but these two teams are going to be fighting to find the other one's weakness as quickly as possible to make sure they can take advantage quickly and work whatever's got to work at this point. As let's talk about these Ball State players, starting with the most important position on any team, the quarterback, Riley Neal, the 6'6", 224-pound senior. He's a solid quarterback. He's having a down year really compared to last year. It doesn't look like, it doesn't look like he's going to throw the ball as much as I think they thought he would. However, he has done fairly well. 14 of 12, or 14-12 being the touchdown to interception ratio. But that completion percentage is the last thing that you don't want looking that bad. That's at 45.2%. Less than 50% completion, that's not going to help you win games. Not by any means. So if Riley wants to win this game, he's going to have to connect with his receivers, and that is going to be a tough thing. Now, if Riley doesn't have the football, it's more than likely going to be in the hands of James Gilbert, the 5'8", 195 senior running back. Now, of course, at Sanford, they have Claude Fleming, who's more of a powerhouse, more of that workhorse, balance back style situation. Gilbert, a lot more speed to his game. Gilbert can be a deadly guy around the edge, so they got to be careful of that. This team has not been the best on defense when it comes to, keeping guys set down and not allowing them to go anywhere. They got to do that with Gilbert. They cannot allow him to get free one bit, or they're doomed. So we'll see exactly how well this defense can corral James Gilbert, because I feel like he's the X factor in this ball game, at least when Ball State's on offense. Defense is an entirely different story as we get to defense here. Nate Childress, the defensive tackle, a guy this offense is going to have to watch out for. 16 total tackles so far this year and 3.5 sacks. That's the scary part. That's not a ton, not by any means. But it means he can get to the quarterback when need be. And against an offensive line that is still a work in progress here at Sanford, you can't be letting up sacks easily. You just can't. You can't be letting them come right in. It's going to be a tough time against Childress, I think, all day. As let's touch on the senior cornerback, Mark Walton. I said he's very Richard Cruz-esque. And, of course, the thing that makes me say that is the 5 interceptions. And, of course, he has 2 defensive touchdowns to go along with his 5 interceptions. So that's 2 pick sixes at some point this year. If I'm a Sanford fan, which I am, I'm terrified. We know Tanner Patrick's issues with throwing the football and the issues that have come across with him and turnovers. If Walton gets that ball in his hands, he might be taking it back, and that's the last thing this team is going to need in this ball game. So a key component like every week is going to be Tanner Patrick playing safe and not giving up that ball a lot. We'll keep everything in mind though as we get ready for this week's game against Ball State. It's on as much time as we had today for the Howler. As folks, we will see you this weekend as we head to Ball State to face the Cardinals. Hello, Sanford. You are listening to Sanford Sports Radio as it is game day here in, let me get this one right, Schumann Stadium. I don't think that one was as tough as I made it out to be, but Schumann Stadium here, Ball State, as the Ball State Cardinals host the Sanford College Coyotes in some MAC play, as the Coyotes are on top of the MAC for the first time this year. It's a huge opportunity for this Sanford team, and they've got to make the most of it here. This is not a top team in Ball State. They have not had the best year. Sanford just has to make sure they don't make more mistakes than Ball State, and this game is theirs for the taking. Of course, easier said than done. But with how well this defense has been playing as of late, Sanford should be able to at least rely a bit on their defense if their offense does make a mistake. Hopefully, though, they don't have to. This offense has to play at their finest, and this defense has to make magic happen when they come out here. It's going to be a tough one, and I think a lot of people are underestimating Ball State this week. We'll see exactly how things go as we are underway here. Patrick Jackson to return this one, as he got some blocks in front of him and up at around the 40-yard line. That is great starting field position for this offense. As 1st and 10 handoff goes to Tyrone Jennings, but he goes down quickly. A loss of 3 in the backfield is Jeremiah Jackson, the man who brought him down. 2nd and 13 is Patrick to throw. Connects over the middle with Herb Fellows. That's going to be an 11-yard gain. Fellows not having the season he was hoping he would see in his senior year, but still a big part of that passing attack. As 3rd and 3 handoff goes to Claude Fleming, as that's going to be a gain of 4 and enough for a Sanford first down. As we're going to see a lot more than likely of Fleming and Tyrone Jennings tandeming up here tonight. As 1st and 10 handoff, Fleming took it around that right edge out of the shotgun, and that worked out for the best, a 7-yard gain. He was brought down, and it is going to be Jennings checking in now for 2nd and 3, and he's got enough, another 7-yard gain. The ground and pound working pretty well so far. As 1st and 10 play action for Sanford. As going deep, that's intercepted. I brought it up. They got to play safe. They've got to play safe. Tanner Patrick cannot be taking those big shots downfield constantly. He wanted Rob Thomas. The safety was right there to make the play happen. It doesn't get much easier for a safety when you throw it to them, so they don't have to make the move. As 1st and 10 now for Ball State. Handoff goes to James Gilbert. And Gilbert gets a nice gain of around 6 on that carry. As it looks like Ball State is going to go into some no huddle here. Riley Neal dropping back. He's going to throw, and that's just thrown away. Out of bounds real quick, as that'll bring up 3rd and 4 now. His defense ready to go as Neal going to drop back. He checks over the middle. That's Peitner, and Peitner with a 6-yard reception. Enough for the first down as Ball State continues this drive. 1st and 10 over the middle. Great play there for the deflection. What a play on the deflection. I believe was Pat Riley on that one, as it's 2nd and 10 now. Neal with the throw to Miller across the middle, and that's going to be enough for the first down gain of 11 to Riley Miller. As the no huddle continues here for Ball State. This defense just trying to make sure they don't wear out too much. As the ball was free, it is picked up though by Anthony Todd, as that will not be a fumble recovered by Sanford. It's still Ball State football here after the recovered fumble, as Neal in the shotgun. Gilbert takes the handoff. He's going to go up the gut for the draw, and that's going to be a big gain of about 10 or 11, whatever you want to call it. The no huddle continues here for Ball State. 3rd and 3 as Neal drops back, and he's going to overshoot his intended target. That's going to fall out of bounds, and that will be an incompletion. 4th and 3. Sanford takes back over after a Ball State punt, and they go right back to the ground game. A 7-yard gain there for Claude Fleming. As this offense looks like they just want to ground and pound here right now. As that's Patrick on the run. The option gains 11 and a new set of downs for Sanford. As 1st and 10 out of the shotgun, they're going to go through the air here. As that's a connection to Tremaine Dingle. A nice throw there from Patrick. Put it right in the breadbasket of Tremaine Dingle. Normally throws like that get intercepted from Patrick all the time. This one was perfect. 1st and 10 handoff on the draw. It's Tyrone Jennings. Another nice gain of 7. These running backs have really been finding room to run. Not only that, but getting some solid blocks from this offensive line. As 2nd and 3 handoff goes to Claude Fleming. It's going to be a gain of 2, making it a manageable 3rd and 1 though. Handoff goes to Fleming, and that's going to be enough for the first, a 5-yard gain on 3rd down. And this drive continues. Only about a minute left here in the first, as that's a play action connection to Tremaine Dingle. 16 yards, and they are inside the red zone, and I mean deep at around the 5. A great throw there. Once again, Tremaine Dingle getting wide open. He's worked very well in the slot whenever he's placed there. As 1st and 10, touchdown Sanford. It's Herb Fellows in the back of the end zone. Tanner Patrick just led an amazing drive for Sanford. That is exactly what this offense needs to do. If they can just continue to drive like that every single time, this team can put up a lot of points. 42 seconds here left in the first as Ball State lines up in the offset I formation. Man in motion was the receiver as James Gilbert can't go anywhere. As that was very quick. Shane Townsend back there immediately. I'm sorry, it was McLaughlin. They got back there. Townsend finishing it off. As Riley Neal just throws it away quick again. That's the 2nd time we've seen him do that. As 3rd and 12 now. Neal to throw. Connects over the middle with Ben Landry. He's brought down though, and I believe the referees just missed a face mask. Luckily it wasn't called, as that will take us to the end of the first. 7-0 early as Sanford is on top of Ball State. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to Sanford Sports Radio. I'm Jonathan West. It's 7-0 Sanford on top as they get the football back here. And that will be a loss of 2 for Antoine Bradford off the play-action reception. No one really wide open. Bradford was the check-down target, hoping he could get something out of it. Didn't happen. 2nd and 12 as the handoff goes to Claude Fleming. He's got room, and really, if he had the speed to outrun that guy, he might have been gone, as that was a hell of a play there for 6 yards. As it is 3rd and 5, and they go options. Tanner stumbled there to begin. He's in the open field, and what a play. 20 yards from Tanner Patrick when it looked like he wouldn't even get one. He stumbled early, recomposed himself, and took off. What a big play. As back to the ground game, it's Tyrone Jennings who checks in. That is a 2-yard run for Sanford as they continue to keep it on the ground. 2nd and 8, play action as Patrick goes down. A big sack by Jacob White, and that is going to force Sanford into a situation they definitely don't want to be in. 3rd and 17. That means Patrick's more than likely going to have to throw this football. Shotgun formation here on 3rd and 17. Play action. Patrick going deep. That's Duran Costello. Down at the 3. 39-yard reception. Well, color me surprised. That was just astonishing. I didn't expect play action in the first place. I didn't expect a wide open Duran Costello downfield. As the 1st and 10 handoff goes to Claude Fleming, touchdown Sanford, as they now take a 2-possession lead. I don't know what I can say that would really explain how shocked I am right now at how well this team is performing here. 14-0, Sanford on top of Ball State as the Cardinals take back over. As a nice catch there by Pintner. He bounces off defenders, and that is a big 34-yard reception that just shouldn't happen. 1st and 10 now in Coyote territory. As looks like Neal's going to take off. As Riley Neal with enough for the 1st down. They'll give him just enough, a 10-yard gain. 1st and 10 here. Neal under center. He's going to drop back. Connects over the middle with Burns. That's going to be a gain of 5 for the fullback, as it is going to bring up 2nd and 5. Hand off to James Gilbert now, and that's going to be another 5-yard gain. And they're going to give him enough for the 1st down as Ball State is driving here. The no huddle continues as Pintner with an 11-yard gain, the big tight end. As 1st and 10, the no huddle continues. Neal checks down here to Gilbert on the swing. He's able to spin away from one defender and gain 4 yards in the process. Solid gain there from James Gilbert for what he had to go through to get it. As it is 2nd and 6, and this second quarter is already just ticking away. As Neal on the run, and they're not going to give him the 1st down. He got 6 yards, but they'll say inches short. They can get a 1st down here at the 1. As Neal, though, connects with Ben Landry, it is a touchdown, Ball State, as they are going to cut this Sanford lead in half. 3 minutes and 9 seconds left here in the 1st, as that is a pitch from Sanford there. That's Claude Fleming that took the pitch from Tanner Patrick. A gain of 6 on that option, and that's going to be a solid game for Fleming, who's had a good day so far. As Tyrone Jennings gets the handoff here on 2nd down. That's another good run, a 1st down run at that, as this offense continues to work with this ground and pound. 2 minutes and 13 seconds is a throw off the back foot to Tyrone Jennings from Patrick. It'll be a gain of 4 as the 2-minute mark has hit. 2nd and 6. We're under 2 minutes left. Is Fleming just going to take it on the ground? That's a gain of 5. As I'm surprised they're not throwing the football nor taking timeouts here with just about a minute left. As Patrick to throw, he connects with Herb Fellows, who was open. That's a 17-yard gain downfield. 1 minute left to go here in this half, as Sanford is just driving at will right now. 1st and 10, 5 wide set from the looks of things, as Patrick throws over the middle, and a great deflection by Romero Wade. That was a great play on the football to just keep that thing away from any receiver. As Patrick sets up the screen here for Claude Fleming, who's got room. That's going to be a gain of 5, and the first timeout taken by Sanford today. 3rd and 5. It's an option here for Patrick, and the read option works. An 8-yard gain, enough for the first, and another timeout taken by Sanford. 1st and 10 here after the second timeout. Patrick to throw, and it should have been picked. That's Mark Walton, and they are lucky he didn't take that one away. 2nd and 10, Patrick to throw. Once again connects. This is Tremaine Dingle for the 3rd time today. 2nd reception at 25 yards or more. What a play. As that will put them at the 1-yard line with 18 seconds. 1st and goal. And Patrick goes up and over. Touchdown, Sanford. I did not expect Tanner Patrick to call his own number and just take it himself. But what a play. The 5'11" quarterback making magic happen there at the at the end zone. As now James Gilbert just going to take a 3-yard gain here, and that should take us to the end of the half. Sanford on top early here, 21-7. As your second half is coming up here in just a bit. You're listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Welcome back, everyone, to the Sanford Sports Radio. It is 21-7 here to begin the 3rd quarter in the second half of play, as Ben Landry with a 22-yard reception from Riley Neal. Sanford on top of things, as I am, of course, Jonathan West. Your man on the call here for the Sanford Sports Radio is Riley Neal with a 13-yard run there, enough for another first down. They're now in Coyotes territory, just past the 50-yard line. As James Gilbert takes the handoff, that'll be only a gain of 1. This no huddle has worn down the defense at points, and they've got to get back into this one as Gilbert takes another handoff. It'll be a gain of 4. 3rd and 5 coming up. Here we go, folks. 3rd and 5. Neal dropping back. They brought some pressure. He checks it down to Miller, and he is stopped. 4th and inches, as it was only a 5-yard gain. The offense, though, for Ball State still on the field, is Neal dropping back. Quick throw to Ben Landry, and that will be enough for the first down. Gain of 8, brought down by Flash Gibson. 1st and 10 as the no-huddle continues. Burns the man in motion as Neal gonna drop back. He connects with a wide open Pintner, and into the end zone he goes. 24-yard reception. Danny Pintner was wide open. It doesn't get much more open than how Pintner was right there. And at that point, all I had to do was try and just outrace the defense, which worked. It's back to a 7-point ball game as Tanner Patrick takes off on a 2-yard run here on the option. 21-14. Sanford, though, still on top of things. As 2nd and 8, the handoff goes to Fleming, but he's bottled up quick. That'll be a loss of 1 and set up a 3rd and 9 situation. This is something the offense hasn't seen a lot of today, as Tanner Patrick in the shotgun And he throws, connects with Claude Fleming. That's going to be enough for the first. First down, Sanford, as they just barely got it. Fleming still in the ball game, though, as he's going to get the handoff on first down. That's going to be a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 as Tyrone Jennings finally checks back in. It is a 2-yard gain now for Jennings, as he hasn't seen a lot of success here as of late. 3rd and 4 as Jennings still in the ballgame. Patrick to throw on the run. Connects with Herb Fellows. 19 yards and a big Sanford first down. Fellows having a good day so far as a great throw. I'm surprised that Fellows was as open as he was. As Jennings dropped here on first down for no gain, just back to the line. Fleming back into the ball game as he'll take the handoff on the draw, and that's going to be a nice 9-yard gain. That's what you want out of your starting running back. 3rd and 1 here is Patrick with the handoff, and that's going to be Claude Fleming again down to the 30. That's a 6-yard gain and another Sanford first down, as things are coming up Sanford here on the ground, that's for sure. They'll take off on the option again as Patrick gets enough for the first, an 11-yard gain. They're wearing down this defense, and it's working. As it looks like they're about to go through the air to the end zone. Intercepted, Romero Wade. It was double coverage. It was a bad situation no matter how you look at it. And Patrick should have never thrown it. Yeah, he was pressured. He was tackled as he threw. All this stuff that can be used as an excuse why he threw it. But he never should have thrown it into that double coverage. As a check down here on 1st and 10, it's a loss of 5 for James Gilbert, as Trey McLaughlin was all over that one. The senior linebacker not allowing Gilbert to go anywhere. 2nd and 15 now, as Gilbert gets the handoff again. He'll gain about 4 there. Doesn't even get all the lost yardage back. As the no huddle continues here for Ball State. 3rd and 11. Riley Neal takes a shot as he throws, and Reese has a step on Cruz. 10-5, touchdown Ball State. Well, it's about to be a tie ball game, folks. I can't believe it. Reese just got a step on Richard Cruz, and Neal was able to take advantage of it. That's something we don't see a lot. We don't see that too often this year. As now Sanford back on offense. The handoff goes to Claude Fleming, a loss of 1. James Jeanette with the tackle. As this is more than likely the last play of the 3rd quarter. Patrick to throw and intercepted over the middle. He wanted Duran Costello. This team has made a lot of big plays off that tight end streak down the middle of the field. He underthrew the football. It was a straight line to the linebacker, and White able to capitalize with a pick. As Riley Neal will throw one ball here in the 3rd quarter, as that will fall incomplete and take us to the end of the 3rd. It's a tie ball game now at 21 apiece. Sanford's got to come back to reality here. They got to come back and play smart again. As you're listening to Sanford Sports Radio, your 4th quarter is coming up just after this. Welcome back, folks, to the 4th quarter of play here, Sanford at Ball State. As it is 21-21, and Riley has all day to throw. Connects with Pinter. Riley Neal had all day. As they are now at the 10-yard line. Neal in the shotgun as they ran their no huddle, and that's going to be a gain of maybe nothing. He might have gotten back to the line to Gilbert, but I don't know, he may have lost about half a yard. 2nd and goal. The crowd here in Sanford starting to get a little riley here, as that is a touchdown though for Danny Pinter, who has been the bane of this defense's existence. Other than the one big play to Reese, everything has gone Pinter's way. As they kick it back to Patrick Jackson, the redshirt freshman receiver, going to get a nice return here up past the 45 to around the 46-47. Great field position for Sanford here on this drive as the handoff goes to Fleming. Got a little bit of room when he cut inside. It'll be a gain of 3. 2nd and 7. Under center is Patrick. He looks to throw, connects with Rob Thomas. That's a gain of 6 on the quick throw. It'll set up a manageable 3rd and 1. Handoff goes to Bradford, but he did not get it. It's 4th and inches. Jacob White with the stop, and the offense is still out there. They go right back to Antoine Bradford, and this time he fights over that marker. That is a 1st down Sanford, as they are more than in now. Cardinal territory as it's 2nd and 5 after that 5-yard run, and Tyrone Jennings looks hurt. He's down on the turf, and this does not look good. We will give you an update, folks, when we get one on Tyrone Jennings, but until then, it will be the Tom Joseph replacement for it'll be Claude Fleming and Tom Joseph. We'll see now in this ball game. It is 1st and 10 after that 6-yard gain by Fleming. Patrick with play action connects with Tremaine Dingle. He has been a big target today. 13-yard gain and enough for a new set of downs. 1st and 10. Tom Joseph in the ball game. He'll take the handoff as Joseph fights for a gain of 4. I am getting word now here, folks, that it is a concussion and that Jennings will be out for the rest of the game and could see some loss of time next week, as that's an interception by Mark Walton. And that is a pick that, thankfully for Tanner Patrick, slowing him down, doesn't go all the way back. But they're back into Sanford territory as Walton just played it with ease. He kept his eyes on Patrick, watched him, and he saw that ball was coming for Costello and played it perfectly. There's nothing else to say. Walton with his 6th pick of the year. 1st and 10 here for Ball State, as Sanford has really fallen from where they were. As down goes Neal, though. That is James Bryant who's going to pick up that sack, as that is something this defense desperately needed. They had not gotten a Neal today. That is the 1st sack of the day. 2nd and 15 as time is ticking. Neal to throw. He checks down to James Gilbert as he is dropped for a 3-yard reception. That was Richard Cruz who finished the job. 3rd and 12 as under center is Riley Neal. And that was a jump. I'm not sure if it was the line. And indeed it will be, as that's a false start. They'll have to move back to a 3rd and 17 situation. 3rd and 17 here in the shotgun. Ball State as Neal throws across the middle. Ben Landry going nowhere. Only a 5-yard gain taken down by Trey McLaughlin. So the boot here for this Ball State team. It's going to take a bounce. And no. A perfect punt. Dropped at the 1-yard line. 2 minutes and 4 seconds remain in this ball game. An option here for Tanner Patrick. He gains 3 off the option. That does not get him out of the shadow. They are still in the shadow of their own end zone. 2nd and 7. Patrick going to throw the football here as he connects with Rob Thomas. That is a gain of enough for the 1st down. A gain of around 18 there. The big play for Rob Thomas works out as it is 1st and 10, and they are in a safer situation. As an overthrow intended for Harrison Frazier. He was, for the most part, pretty open there. Just overthrown by Patrick. Patrick throws again here, checks down to Tremaine Dingle. He runs out of bounds to save some time on the clock. 1.5 minutes remains. 3rd and 2 here. As Patrick will play action. Downfield, that's Duran Costello. They are now in Cardinal territory. 25-yard reception for the big tight end. 1st and goal, still in the shotgun. Patrick to throw. He wanted Fellows, and it's intercepted. It's not Romero Wade, it's the other Wade on the defense. And that, folks, is going to seal this ball game. Sanford only has one timeout here. As the handoff by Neal will take James Gilbert for a gain of 6. Sanford takes their last time out. On 1st down will end it as Gilbert will run towards the right side. He goes down. Pat Riley on the tackle. But at this point, there's just not enough time left on the clock. Victory formation for Ball State as Sanford falls 28-21. That, folks, is the first loss for Sanford this year in MAC play. And that's a tough one to take. This team had not lost a MAC game this year. And to think the week that they were finally on top of the MAC, this happens. You can't write it any better if you want a dramatic story here, but we don't want drama, we want winning football games. And I don't know what to say at this point. It means now Sanford needs a lot of help if they want to win the East. They need a lot of help. They need somebody to defeat Miami of Ohio. But Sanford's going to have to bounce back from this. They cannot let this beat them. They cannot let this loss to Ball State be the end of them. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions in the interview after this game for Coach Wolf about Tanner Patrick. I can already hear all the interviewers. I think I'm just going to sit back, let them ask the questions, because I've got a feeling it's not going to be pretty. Folks, I have been Jonathan West. You've been listening to Sanford Sports Radio. Once again, 28-21, your final Ball State victorious. We will see you folks next week.